CCW, a staple in South Florida. And one of the stars of CCW, very talented, hardworking pro wrestler, Andrea is here. Andrea, you got to tell us a little bit some of the past character names you've had, because for those who don't know, and now your story's out, so a lot of people know now,
yeah.
But you went through a whole transformation, not just with character, but with the whole body, for God's sake. So
absolutely, yeah. I answer to a list of names. At any given time, I can answer to like 5 different names. I started back in 2005 training. One of the Dudleys, Devon Dudley, actually found me at another school that I was at, and he pulled me into his and Bubba's school, and I started training there. It developed a character actually that Bubba's responsible for. He's responsible for a bunch of my characters. Not this one though, he hates it because it's not as flashy as the other ones that I've had. But I started off with Betsy Ruth, which was based on the baseball furies from the movie The Warriors. So I was a little bit heavier then. I was actually 133 pounds heavier at the time when I first started training. I was Betsy Ruth all over the independent circuit. I actually started working for CCW as Betsy Ruth back then, and I became Rosie Lottalove, and she went to TNA. She had a little bit of a cup of coffee there, and I made my way around the Dominican Republic, actually with Pablo, who is now running CCW, one of the head trainers there, and I was there in the Dominican Republic as Rosie Lottalove, and she made her way over to Japan as well. She did a couple tours over there, 7 to be exact, with Diana. It was Kyoko Inoue's promotion. It still exists over there, actually, but with the economic decline after the tsunami, things, you know, they kind of fizzled out a little bit, but they're rebuilding. I've actually spoken with them, and they're doing well now. And then I went through a bit of a transformation myself. Like I said, I did lose 133 pounds.
When did that occur? When and why then did you decide? Was it more for health reasons, or was it other reasons?
Actually, I'd always tried to lose weight. I was on every diet you could possibly imagine, and if you think about it, I was training 5 days a week with the Dudleys, which isn't an easy task. I wasn't eating junk food. I never have been a junk food kid. I was always eating well, but probably too much. I would say definitely too much. But I was always trying to lose weight, and I never could. When I was in Japan, I got injured. I went through some scaffolding through a table, actually ruptured an ovary, flew back 30 hours, collapsed in my shower, went to the hospital, and then I found out through some testing, because my ovary was ruptured, they had to do some hormone testing and whatnot on my ovaries, that I had a hormonal imbalance. So, myself, I went and I did some research. I do have a medical background. I actually have a couple degrees. One of them is biological health sciences, so I do my own research. So I was doing some.
So you not only sound a wrestler, but you're very smart too.
Well, I'm not just a dumb wrestler. So I did some research. Found out that I have a condition called polycystic ovary syndrome. A lot of women have it, not a lot of women are diagnosed, and a lot of obese women have it as well. The cure for having, not the cure, something that helps with the symptoms of polycystic ovary syndrome is losing weight. But because of the androgens, which are hormones that are put out by your brain and your ovaries and your stomach all combined, your body's throwing out all these hormones, it leads you to not be able to lose weight. So it's very much a catch-22. They put you on medicine and yada yada yada. I was allergic to all the medicine, couldn't lose weight, so I did some more research. The American Diabetic Association actually did research on lab rats who had polycystic ovary syndrome, and it's getting a little technical, but just a quick story about it is they did research on the lab rats. They did what's called a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, in which is they take the outer portion of your stomach out. Well, I had to have surgery on my ovary anyway, so I went ahead and had them take part of my stomach out as well. And what that does is that cuts off the androgens, which are the hormones that go from the ovaries to the brain to the stomach. So that cuts off those things and it allows people to lose weight. I happened to lose 133 pounds, not just from the surgery, but definitely through diet and exercise as well. I continued my training. I calorie count and carb count, and I do my macros, and I work out constantly. Everything that goes into my mouth gets put into a journal, and it is affecting those around me as well. My family has started being more health conscious. We actually did, I just got off a vacation, and we actually, instead of taking a trolley around, we rented bikes and we biked around Key West, so it was really cool. But it's definitely just, get out there and be active. There's all these councils right now that are, get kids to do 60 minutes of activity a day, 30 minutes activity a day. Adults do 75 minutes of cardio a week. It helps, and every little bit helps. And you know what? People are trying out there. All I can say is just keep trying. I will put a plug out for MyFitnessPal because I used it during my weight loss. And what it does is you track every bit of calories that you put in your mouth, and it's simple math. The calories you put in versus the calories that you put out will result in weight loss. That's, if you don't have other complications as well. But definitely do some research, and any funding you can give to polycystic ovary syndrome research, I would definitely suggest it, because it is something that is affecting tons and tons of women, and they don't know it. So there's that. So that was the weight loss.
When you talk about the healthy eating too,
yes.
So it's more or less of course you eat healthy, but it's more a calorie count than for you.
For me, yes. I eat very, very well. But
what things do you eat? What things are you able to eat, or do you like to eat, or can eat with your calorie count?
You know what I don't do? I don't drink any bubbles whatsoever. So I have no carbonation whatsoever, and that's a result of the surgery and my own. I know people who have had the surgery who do drink bubbles. I don't, because what it does is it expands your stomach. If you expand your stomach, you can fit more food in there. So I try and keep my stomach as small as possible, and I eat every 2 hours on the hour. I eat every 2 hours, small meals, about a cup. But I eat whatever I want, but in my mind, I have my own, I know what works for me. Protein definitely, vegetables definitely. I do carbohydrates. I'm not afraid of carbohydrates. I'm highly active, so I need those carbohydrates because carbohydrates are energy. So, but there's that, and then you have to figure out what works for you. And what I went ahead and did for my exercise is I put a gym in my garage. I went to what's called a gym graveyard. This guy buys all of these old gym equipment, and he puts it in like his yard, and it's all rusted.
Does he look like the Undertaker? I'm just curious.
No, he doesn't.
It's a gym graveyard.
He's this old man who's used to be like this weightlifter, and now he's just hobbling around in his little yard with all this rusted equipment. He's like, don't worry, it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be heavy. And I was like, perfect. So I went and I spent $1,000, and I have an entire weight room in my garage. What he did was he sanded it down, and he polished it up, and he spray coated it, and it's not the prettiest stuff in the world, but it works. My family owns a restaurant, so I got a couple kegs. So I lift those up as much as I can too. But yeah, I try to incorporate. I take the stairs whenever I can. I don't take the ramp. I'll take the stairs. I don't take the elevator. I'll take the stairs. I take classes at USF every once in a while, and I'm on the 3rd floor, and everybody's taking the elevator. Well, I take the stairs, and I try and run up them as fast as I can. It is what it is. What's your best or favorite, and there may be more than one, compliment that you've got since that, whether it's from your peers, your family, fans even, after this? One thing that I've gotten a lot of is, we always knew you were pretty, but we didn't know you were beautiful. And I was like, well, thank you, thank you very much. And I think, everybody's beautiful in their own way. You don't have to be thin to be beautiful, but I do appreciate the compliments. People are noticing my talent more instead of my weight. So I was always able to do what I was able to do. But you were always a big girl. Big girl doing it. So they were kind of astonished at the fact, like, wow, she's a big girl and she can roll around like that. Now it's, wow, she's a girl, she's a big girl, but she's not a big girl, and she can go. So definitely my cardio's improved. That I can say that I can go for a long time in the ring now. So. And when you're competing in Japan, and will you go back to Japan? There have been talks. So there might be some for you, right? If the money is right. Sure. It's one of those things now. It's I'm not getting any younger. So Terry Taylor says you have a bump card, and once it's filled, it's filled. So I'm not taking bumps for free anymore. But if the money is right, then I will go back. So. You mentioned Terry Taylor. I have to ask you this because you were a Rosebud. Yeah. Is that correct? Yes, I was. For one of the WWE tapings, I guess, or whether it was Raw or SmackDown, but in Florida, and you were there for that. We didn't pre-talk this, but I just remembered that when you said that. How did that come about? Was that just something they were looking for people, and maybe Bubba and Devon got you there, or no, it was something else that got you there? Actually, that was Alpha. Alpha helped me with that. I've worked with Alpha for years. For WXW. For WXW. I've worked with him, and he said, honey, he calls me baby. He goes, baby, they need an extra. Can you do it? and I was actually doing the TNA tapings that Sunday, and then that Monday, Tuesday, they needed me for SmackDown and Raw. So I worked for I cashed 2 different companies' paychecks. In one
That's
piece.
a rarity.
So, yeah.
I know, that's something that...
I was like, hey, high roller. I was just ready for the payday, you know. Yeah, I did that, and then I actually, from that, during your second day there, they give you the opportunity to wrestle in front of everyone. So I got to wrestle in front of William Regal and Dustin. Goldust, sorry.
No, that's right.
And then all the boys and all the girls and, you know, all the important people, not the too high ups, but, you know, important people, the people who can get you to where you need to be. And in June, I had a tryout with WWE. Went very well. It was the most grueling 3 days I've ever been through, and I went through the Dudley School, which was very, very grueling. But what they did is they helped me prepare for it. Dan, the master trainer there, he's an original creator of the Gladiators. He actually, you know, got me into the shape that I needed to be. I was in very, very, very good ring shape, but that whole tryout is just conditioning, and you have to do it for 3 days straight for 6 to 8 hours, and it's relentless. It's very much mental, as much mental as it is physical. I actually think it's more mental because, you know, your body will give out far sooner. Your brain will give out far sooner than your body will. There you go. So I got ready for that. I did it. I did well, did very well. I actually got invited a couple times to NXT, and then this last time that I was invited, I got to work a match. So we'll see where it goes from there.
What was that like, working a match for NXT?
It was great. It's very different because in the independent circuit, you're able to, you know, kind of create your own story. But there, it's their story. It's what they want. And if you can't give them what they want, then you're no good to them. So, you know, I was able to do that. And I got to work with Norman Smiley, and I had a match with Emma, which was great. It wasn't very long, but you know what? You don't need that long to show them what you can do. You know, personality comes through the moment you walk through the curtain. So.
It's interesting, too, because another Team 3D Academy alum, which is Bubba and Devon's school up in Kissimmee, Florida, so we'll give them a plug near Orlando, Leva Bates, who is also known as Blue Pants.
Blue Pants, yeah.
And that's interesting, too, because here you have yourself and Blue Pants getting some opportunities here and there.
What's funny about that is we're the 2 surviving originals from the Dudley School. We are the 2 people, actually the 2 people, not just females, the 2 people who first started at the school who are still there to this day. There was a couple that started maybe like a month or so after, or a couple weeks after, but we are the 2 people who started at that school and who have done things in this business that, you know, we're both happen to work for NXT. We're not hired by the company, but we are contracted independently to work shows, which is awesome because we're the daughters of the Dudleys. So we are the originals.
And what you mentioned here and there about it, what was it like working with Bubba Ray and Devon and the experience, the knowledge that they were able to give you?
It's vast. It's very much vast. And you know what? They're not just these people who teach you and then just let you go. They are constantly evolving because they're back in the WWE themselves. You know, I got taught the old school way. It's the old school rules with the new school tools is what their motto is. And it very much is that. They're constantly evolving the way that they teach people. Like, I'll go in now. I don't go there all the time, but I do go train every once in a while, and I'll go in and train, and I'll see the way that they're training the newer kids, the up-and-coming, you know, people who are going to take over when we're done. And it's like, wow, well, we didn't do that. And they are a little bit more gentle with them, you know. We were kind of like the first daughters, you know.
You were the guinea pigs.
We were the guinea pigs, so we may have gotten the tar beat out of us a couple times. And
I know, I'm trying not to laugh, so
it's all right. But no, I mean, that helped me because it made me mentally stronger, and with the way that the Divas Revolution is going now, which, you know, I firmly believe started with Medusa and you know, Bull Nakano and them, but it died down and now it's back again. So, you know, and I'm personal friends with Medusa, and I've talked with her a couple times, and she's really excited about the direction that it's going and whatnot. And, you know, she's getting the itch to get back in too, but she's racing her monster truck over for Monster Jam.
Yeah, that's great. She's doing monster truck. She's been doing that for a while, and is awesome at that. Okay, lastly, what things are coming up for you, future things?
I am going to Chile December 13th for Wrestling Superstars with Hugo Savinovich, and it is awesome. This is going to be a huge show. Rico Casanova's going, Matt Hardy's going, we've got Carlito, he's going over there, Pablo Marquez is going with me as well. I'm actually wrestling against Santana for the NWA Women's title. It's the first time it's ever been up for grabs outside of the United States in South America. So it's going to be very exciting.
This is a new experience going to Chile?
Yes.
You've been other places.
Been other places.
Around the world, but this is a new experience.
Recently went to Puerto Rico as well for WWL, but this is South America. So I'm hitting another continent, checking that off my bucket list. So, there's other opportunities coming up as well. I hear that Ring Warriors may be going to another country as well. I can't say anything right now, but there's another country that they're speaking with as well, and if that goes through, I'm set to go with them there. So that's awesome. And then with Wrestling Superstar Hugo Savinovich, we've got things bubbling up in South America,
expand,
all over.
Right? That could be all over a show. So. And I'll leave it with this. So we have you, Leva Bates, Blue Pants, and you mentioned Santana.
Yes.
3 that have trained in Florida, and 3 women that are doing extraordinary things.
Yes.
What does it say about women's wrestling in Florida, or women's wrestlers in Florida?
It speaks mounds, because the 3 of us have worked together for a very long time. We may have lost touch and come back together again, but whenever we come back together again, it's like a sisterhood. We're very close. We may not be the best of friends, we may not be enemies, but we're very close when it comes to working with each other. We want to go out there and we want to give the best damn show we possibly can give, and that's what we're going to give every single time. And you know what? It's not just in the ring, it's behind the ring, behind the scenes. We were the girls that were out there putting the rings together, so it's earning the respect from the people, not only the people, but the locker room and everyone who has to do with wrestling as well. And if you're watching this and you want to be a female wrestler, definitely learn from the best, learn from somebody who's been there. I will suggest the Team 3D Academy because that's where I came from. So, give them a call if you want to do it, but be prepared to work very, very hard, because it's not for the weak at heart.
Thank you so much. Continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Do you have social media?
I do.
Before letting you go, and I always do that
Twitter
because
and Instagram. Yes. See, I'm always on there, but I always forget to mention it.
I always forget because I'm old. So I always that wasn't way back when.
Twitter and Instagram at Amazon_Andrea, Andrea. So you can find me there.
Thank you much.
Bye, guys.